Hi, and congratulations on your 2023 Nissan Pathfinder SL. This is an amazing vehicle. They did a fantastic job when they redesigned this last year, but part of the reason that you bought it is because you absolutely loved it. So let's go through all the features because there's a ton of them. We want to make sure that you're fully up to date on this and don't miss out on anything that you could be utilizing. And at the end, if you still have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can call, text, email, or stop into O'Regan's Nissan on Baker Drive in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. We're going to do everything that we can to answer all your questions for you. Let's have a look at your new vehicle. We're going to start right here at the infotainment system. Now, I apologize, it is a little bit bright out today. However, at the infotainment system, we can see right away there is a navigation system. This navigation system is a great way to get you where you want to go. Very easy to operate. We're going to start by hitting destination on the bottom here. If you know exactly where you're going, if it's in the same city, start with the house number and street number. If it's in a different city or location, start there. Or if it's outside of your state or province, you're going to want to start there. But whatever it is, makes it quick and easy to get where you want to be. Or maybe you just want to get to the nearest gas station, coffee shop, restaurant, whatever the case is. You can go into points of interest and we can see there is a lot of preset ones here, or we've got all categories here, which gives me lots and lots of options to make sure that I'm going to get where I want to go. And then all you got to do is just tap on one of those and it's going to start with whatever's closest and then work its way out from there. So you can see Starbucks, Second Cup, and then Tim Hortons. And then as I go down, I can go down one by one or a whole page at a time. We're going to back right out of here. Like I said, very easy to use. You can do it by voice as well. You don't have to do it using the touch buttons. If you're going to do it by voice, you do it right over here on this screen. Makes it super simple. Our audio, again, really nice and clear, full color touch screen. And then for our sources, AM, FM, satellite radio comes free for the first 3 months. USB 1 and 2, which is my Type A and Type C USBs down below here. And then I've got Bluetooth. Now what we don't see because it hasn't been hooked up yet is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The moment they are connected, those do become options as well. We're going to come back here. Your backup camera. We're going to stop our beeping there for a moment. Nice, clear, crisp backup camera. You can see everything behind me. The beeping's happening because of the rear sonar, because this vehicle is within the green hash marks here, so it starts beeping. The closer I get to it, the faster the beeping will happen. If I get down so that it's near those red hash marks, it is going to fully stop me in place. That's the rear emergency braking. And you can see the green flashing down here because I'm in that area that it's starting to beep. This is a 360-degree round view monitor. It utilizes the backup camera, a camera in the front directly below the Nissan emblem, and then cameras under the side mirrors for the sides. Now, while I'm in reverse, if I hit the camera button, I now have a view down the passenger side of the vehicle, and if I'm going to park next to a curb, I can put this yellow line right on the curb and I'm exactly 6 inches from it. Push it again, I get a nice large view at the back, and then I'll just set it back to our normal view. Now, because I've done that, when I go into park, I now have a view out the front. Now, if I go into drive, I get the same thing. This screen will stay on for up to 2 minutes, or until I push the camera button to turn it off, or hit 10 kilometers an hour, whichever hits first. But from there, if I'm pulling into a parking spot and it's kind of tight, I can hit the camera button. This gives me the view out the front. I want to get in so that that red hash mark there is pretty close to the vehicle in front of me, and then I know I'm within about a foot, maybe a little less, of that vehicle, and I'm in nice and tight so that I'm not sticking out. And again, we're just going to cycle through and turn that off. As we move down, we see I've got tri-zone climate control. So this is really nice. Right now, my rear climate control is off. We're going to turn this on. So right away, I can see that. In the front, it is dual, so I can set my own temperature for whatever I want. Now I see I've got 3 separate temperatures. I can hit the sync button and everything syncs up to the driver's side setting, making it really easy to use. In the back, there are controls on the back of the armrest, which we'll see later on. But if you've got kids that like to fight over who's going to control it, you can simply lock them out so that you have total control from here. And if you want to change it, simply hit the rear control button, and now your dial will change it. Again, I'm going to hit sync, and you see it says sync. I'm going to turn the rear control off, and now my controls are back to the front. Now, because I hit auto, what I do recommend is find a temperature that you're comfortable with and then hit auto. What that's going to do is it's going to get you up or down to that temperature as quickly as possible. And then as you get close to that temperature, it's going to do just what it needs to maintain the temperature. If you do want to manually adjust your fan speed, that's right here. If you want to manually adjust where your airflow is going, you can quickly put it on the front windshield here, or you can use this button here to cycle through my different options. But as we notice, as I do this, auto turns off automatically. So I'm going to turn that back on. My rear defrost also activates my heated side mirrors. So keep that in mind if you want to clear those mirrors off, whether it's some frost or just a little bit of dew, my rear defrost button will do that. I do have a heated steering wheel button, which is on right now, and this steering wheel is getting toasty. I love this feature. It will stay on for approximately 30 minutes and then turn off. If you're driving and it turns off, you want it back on, simply push the button again. It will come back on and it'll stay on. Heated seats are on the outside of the dials here. As you can see, there is high, medium, and low. It's currently -6 outside, so I've got the heated seats up all the way because these leather seats do get a little chilly, and right now they're toasty because they have the heated seats on. As I move down to my gear shift, this is a little bit different to work this because it's in park. All the way down puts me in drive. It shows me on the gear shift as well as up here. For reverse, I must squeeze the thumb button, push all the way forward, and we see right away the backup camera comes on. We can hear that beeping again. For park, I simply have to push P. That puts me into park, shows me here, shows me up here. For neutral, if I'm already in park, I can either go up or down. One click and hold. My foot does need to be on the brake. That puts me in neutral. If I'm in reverse, I need to come back down towards that neutral. If I'm in drive, I need to go up towards the neutral. But that's how we work our gear shift. If you're in drive and you want to get to a lower gear or manually shift, come down to drive a second time. And we see it turns from a D to a 1. So I'll show you that again. There's my drive. I do it again. I now have a 1. And there are paddle shifters on the steering column that I can then use to manually shift. Once I get down where I'm going, all I got to do is pull it back down to drive, and it puts me back into drive mode again. Your parking brake is an electronic parking brake. Simply lift up on that to engage it. It shows me up here on the dash as well, and to disengage it, my foot must be on the brake and then push down on this, and it will disengage your parking brake. Auto hold. Now right now it's not going to show anything because I'm not buckled up or in drive, which I'm going to do quickly here just to give you a quick demonstration. So with auto hold, I'm going to put us in drive, and we see right away I have a green circle with an A and the word hold up top there. I am in drive, which we can see. I'm not moving and I'm not touching the brake. That means that my brake is held on for me. The moment I touch the gas, I start moving, that turns white. I touch the brake and fully hold, it turns green again. So I'm going to put us in reverse and back us up a little bit. Put us back in park. Now the neat thing with the auto hold, so I've got it green, so now if I shift into park while it's green, what we'll notice is it automatically engages the parking brake. This button here is for my auto off. So anytime that you pull up to a stop sign or a red light, the motor may shut down until it turns green. You let go of the brake and then it comes back on. You can disable that function each time you get in by pressing this button here. And when I press it, it does tell me it is off. My dial here, by default, is on the top one. Now, as I move this, it is going to display up here on the driver display screen. We'll look at that in a moment. This is auto, this is my normal mode, and this is where it's going to start every time. My little plant here is eco mode. That will get me better gas mileage, especially on the highway. My checkered flag is sport mode, so if I'm losing my passing lane and I want to get ahead of that last car before I lose my passing lane, I can just turn my dial down to sport mode. That will give me extra torque on the motor. It's a little more responsive. You will rev a little bit higher, but it will get you where you want to be in a hurry. Just don't forget to take it back out of this because it is harder on gas. My last mode down here is tow mode. So if you're going to tow anything, you definitely want it in tow mode. It is going to change how the shifting is happening so that it happens seamlessly and you really don't notice the weight on the back of the vehicle. And with tow mode, you can tow up to 6,000 pounds with this Pathfinder. My snowflake. So let's go back for a moment. For these methods here, with the all-wheel drive system, the way it's going to work, or the four-wheel drive system, you're going to be in four-wheel drive pulling away from a dead stop, and then once you get going, it's going to drop down to front-wheel drive and it'll stay there for fuel efficiency. Any traction issues at all, slippery roads, loose gravel, hydroplaning, whatever it is, any slippage on those front wheels will automatically engage your four-wheel drive system. As soon as you're past it, it drops right back down to front-wheel drive. With snow mode, it's still going to do the same thing starting out. Pulling away from a dead stop is going to be in four-wheel drive. You're going to drop down to front wheel. Any traction conditions will automatically engage that four-wheel drive system. But when you're in snow mode, once you get past that, so let's say, because it is cold out, let's say we hit some black ice. In the normal mode, as soon as I get past that black ice, it drops back down to front wheel. If it hits more black ice up ahead, it'll still engage the four-wheel drive immediately. Whereas in snow mode, I hit black ice. As soon as I get off of it, it's going to hold me in four-wheel drive for a bit longer in anticipation of some more. So it's just waiting to see if there's going to be more. If after a few seconds it's not running into it, then it will drop back down. My experience with this has been you drive pretty seamless in the winter conditions. In snow mode, it's almost like it doesn't realize that there's any snow on the road. It does so well. Mud and rut, if you're heading down an old dirt road and we've just had a pile of rain, again, this will kick you into the four-wheel drive system, but it's going to hold you for an extremely long time because it knows the conditions that you're in. And then sand mode down the bottom here, if you're down around a beach or whatever, this is almost exclusively four-wheel drive the entire time that you're in it. And we do have a button in the center here. You can use it at any point, but I recommend it with tow mode. This is called Hill Descent Assist. You will notice a flashing light up on your dash. This is going to make it a whole lot easier on your brakes if you're coming down a hill with that trailer on the back or whatever you've got on the back there for the weight. You see it does stay on no matter what mode I'm in. I'm going to turn it back off. Now as I turn my dial, whether I turn it clockwise or counterclockwise, we can see it goes through the options right here on the screen so that you don't need to be looking down at the dial to see what it is that you're doing. As we move over to our steering wheel, we're going to start right here with the cruise control. This will turn on our cruise, and we see up here it pops up to a display screen for our safety features, and then from there it's going to go over to show the cruise. Now by default, the adaptive or intelligent cruise control is set for 3 car lengths plus safe distance. This button here will allow me to change it down to 2 or 1 or back up to 3. Now, this is car lengths plus safe distance. So just as an example, 1 car length plus safe distance while doing 100 kilometers an hour is approximately 2.5 car lengths between you and the vehicle ahead of you. The faster you go, the bigger that gap is. The slower you go, the smaller that gap will be because of the time that it takes to stop. Now, if I just want my traditional cruise, now notice up here, this is here, but also notice up here, I'm going to turn the cruise off. Now that blue button here, I'm going to press and hold, and we see this changes. I no longer have my lines down here, and I now have a little dial up here. This means I'm now into traditional cruise control. So it's not the adaptive cruise control or intelligent cruise control that everybody is starting to get used to. When I turn the cruise off, anytime I simply push the blue button, I'm into the adaptive. But if I push and hold, that's when I get my traditional cruise control. Back down to our steering wheel here. These two buttons are for my Bluetooth hands-free. This will answer a call. It'll also hang up a call. This button is my voice recognition button. Now, this, simply pushing it, it's going to say, please say a command. For an outbound phone call, I can just say, call Nissan, or however the person is listed in my address book. Now, I mentioned earlier that you can set your navigation by voice control as well. So we're going to do that right now so that I can show you. But before I do that, if I press and hold this for 2 seconds, it will give you the voice recognition system on your phone. So if it's an Apple phone, it'll give you Siri. If it's an Android phone, it'll give you Hey Google. And then you have the voice recognition from your phone to be able to do that. If you are plugged into Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, it will allow you to set things using their voice recognition system through that button as well. So we're going to press the button.
Please say or select a command.
Navigation.
Navigation. Please say or select a command from the displayed list.
Street address, 60 Baker Drive, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia.
Did you mean 60 Baker Drive, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia? Please say yes or say a number from the displayed list.
Yes.
Yes. 60 Baker Drive, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Calculate route, adjust location, or change address.
Calculate route.
Calculating route. The route calculation is complete. Proceed to the nearest road.
So as you can see, it's very easy to set it by voice, and you can do this while driving, because while you're driving, all of these buttons are going to gray out. So you can't use the touch screen while driving. It is deemed to be a distraction, but you can still set it by voice while you're driving so that you're not having to worry about that and not having to pull over and stop. So it makes it really easy to do. We're going to hit cancel and come back out of there. So nice and easy to use, very easy to operate. As we move to the left side of our wheel, we've got our volume for our radio right here. It's really nice and easy to operate. These two buttons are going to go through the presets on my radio, so I can use them to go left or right. Now the nice thing is, if I'm on my home screen or my audio screen up here, as I go through my presets, I can see all the radio info changing right on the bottom of the screen there. So again, really easy to operate. My left and right arrows here are going to be to change the screens. Now this button here, I don't usually cover very much with this. This is just a quick menu. Audio source, driver assistance. I don't usually get into that because I never really use that button. And the audio source, if I'm on the home screen or the audio button and I simply press the OK dial, I can change the audio source right from here. And we see right away my radio has changed over to satellite radio. So I can control everything that I want to control with my audio with the push of a thumb right from here, making it very, very easy to operate everything. Now, my home screen has a compass, a digital speedometer, and my radio info. If I go one screen to the right, I have a manual drive computer here. So with the drive computer here, I can see I've got my average fuel economy, which is running ridiculously high. And the reason for that is we've only gone 43.4 kilometers in 3 hours and 3 minutes. So we're going to reset this by press and hold the OK dial. We're going to say all items and yes. Now I'm going to just press the dial and let go. This gives us a manual drive computer too. So again, we're going to press and hold. I can individually reset any one of those 4 items on there, but I'm going to reset them all. My 4 items, I've got my average fuel economy, an average speed, my trip odometer, and total time running since reset last. So lots of options. Now our last one here is an auto refuel. And what this means is every single time that you gas up your vehicle, it will automatically reset this screen. This is the one I tend to leave it on for most customers just because it does give you an idea of what's going on, and it will allow you to track everything from fill up to fill up. This screen is for my tire pressure monitoring system. Once you start to drive, this will populate. What you'll see here is the picture of the chassis of a vehicle. There'll be 4 wheels and 2 axles. On the axles, there are 2 numbers. Those are what your front and back wheels should be set to for your PSI. And while you drive, right beside or below your wheels, it will have the exact pressure of each wheel individually. There is a 6 PSI variance. So what this means is if my wheels are supposed to be set for 33, it will not trigger a warning until I go below 27. Now, no matter what screen I'm on, this screen or any other screen, if I have a low tire, it will pop up and tell me low tire pressure. It'll show me which tire is low and the exact pressure from that tire. From there, I just want to pull in somewhere that's got an air pump, leave the Pathfinder running, go to the tire that it says needs air, and start putting air in that tire. When it gets up to the proper pressure, as long as your Pathfinder is running, your horn will beep once to tell you to stop. At that point, stop putting air in your tire. If for some reason you kept putting air in or went to the wrong tire, there is an upper limit, and if it does hit the upper limit, it will beep the horn 3 times in a row. At that point, please stop putting air in the tire, but we would ask that you start to let some back out. And again, once it gets back down to the proper pressure, the horn will beep once to tell you to stop. Now, if we notice on the side over here, there are some up-down arrows. That means that there are additional screens. I'm going to use my scroll dial to scroll down. This screen will allow me to see any fuel that I have saved through the auto start stop function if you have it enabled. Now again, to disable it, you do need to disable it every time that you turn on your vehicle. If you do leave it on, this will show you any kind of fuel that you have saved. We're going to scroll down again. This screen will allow you to monitor when you're in 4-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive. And then if we scroll down again, we're back to where we started. So we're going to go to the next screen, which is simply my navigation screen. This is just a compass. If my navigation is fully set, now I know we canceled it earlier, but this will have an arrow going either straight up to my destination, up to the left or up to the right, depending on the direction of my next turn. And it will count down the distance on the screen here, all the while talking to you through the speaker system to let you know what's going on. Next screen over is simply my audio screen. And again, if I push that OK dial, I see that I get my audio sources there as well, same as the home screen. The intelligent cruise control we already talked about, but again, I got that up down arrow there, so I'm going to scroll on this screen. I can see this is for my safety features. It will give me visuals to go with all of this. My experience has been the visuals are great, but you're not going to pay a whole lot of attention to them because you're going to be more concerned with what's going on around you. However, you do have automatic emergency braking with forward collision warning in the front. This is run through a sonar in the front, a radar in the front of the vehicle. It is located down at the very bottom in the front. You're going to want to keep it clear in the winter. I'll show you that shortly in the video. The forward emergency braking is something you will experience. Everybody does. So for example, if you're driving up the road and there's a car up ahead turning onto a side street, they're doing 5 or 10 kilometers an hour around that turn. You're doing 50 kilometers an hour approaching them. You know that they're going to be well out of the way before you ever get there, so you're not slowing down. But when the radar gets within range, it is going to beep at you and flash warning up on the screen here because it realizes that unless something changes, there is a risk of a collision here. That car will finish rounding the turn. You're going to carry on because everything will stop at that point, and you're going to carry on as if it never happened. Now, your automatic emergency braking would be the next step. So if partway around that turn, that car hit the brakes or the car driving in front of you slammed on the brakes inside the vehicle, it will beep at you. It will flash that warning on the top of the screen. But if your foot doesn't get on the brake fast enough, it will start to apply the brakes for you to help avoid or minimize an oncoming collision. The moment your foot gets on that brake, that system turns off because you're in total control of your vehicle. There is pedestrian detection in the front as well, run through the camera up here in the windshield. It's going to work the exact same way, except it's going to happen even faster. And the reason for that is the vehicle in front of you that hit the brakes still has some forward momentum. while the person who just walked out in front of you does not. Hopefully we're going to avoid giving them any momentum. You do have lane departure warning. Now this is more of a highway feature. It works at 60 kilometers an hour or higher. Again, this camera up here in the windshield is going to be looking for the lines on either side of you. If you start to drift out of your lane, it will vibrate your steering wheel on you. It's almost like hitting the rumble strips on the sides of the road. You have blind spot indicators, which are out on the corners of your mirrors. You can see the little icon up there. Each mirror has it. When there is a vehicle in your blind spot, and this works at 32 kilometers an hour with a vehicle in motion beside you, when there's a vehicle in that blind spot, it could be the nose of it, the tail end of it, or the whole vehicle, but as long as part of it is there, the indicator on that side will light up and stay lit up a dull orange as long as that vehicle is partially in your blind spot area. While it's lit up, so if my driver's side is lit up and while it's lit up, I signal to go left, this indicator over here is going to start flashing and it is going to beep at me inside. It's just letting me know that, hey, there is a vehicle in my blind spot. Have a look over my shoulder, check it out. We want to make sure that it's good and safe to go. If for some reason I try to go anyway, your Pathfinder is going to pull you back into your lane. It does so by very lightly adjusting the brakes on the right side of the vehicle, in this case, to help pull me back into my lane. That is your blind spot intervention. Rear cross traffic alert is when you're backing out of a parking spot. If there's anything at all coming towards you from either side within approximately 2 car lengths inside the vehicle, it will beep. And whichever side that object is approaching you from, then the blind spot indicator on that side of the vehicle will be flashing to let you know, hey, hold up, something coming at you from that side of the vehicle. The rear sonar and rear emergency braking, we already got a good look at with the backup camera. Like I said, great features. Even works when somebody just walks out right behind you if you're in a parking lot or somewhere like that. Our last screen there is our speed limit screen. So whether you're on this screen or not, this screen, if you pass by a speed limit sign, will post very large up here a big picture of that speed limit sign to let you know what the speed limit is, but it's also going to post it right up here as well, so that whether you're on this screen or not, you always know what your speed limit is anytime that you pass a speed limit sign. Now in our settings, we are going to adjust a couple things. The first thing I want to do is come down to driver assistance. I want to make sure my steering assist is on. That is my Pro Pilot system. That works with the adaptive cruise control. When the Pro Pilot is on and you've got your adaptive cruise set, Pro Pilot's going to use this camera to read the lines on either side of you. And as long as it can read both lines, you will hear it engage with a small audible ding. You'll also see stuff on the dash light up in green, and you will feel your steering wheel start to move a little bit in your hands. It is helping you steer the vehicle. It is designed to keep you centered in your lane. This was primarily designed for long drives or late night trips, but can be used at any point that you've got your cruise on. And it does work remarkably well to help keep you where you need to be. You can override it at any time just by moving the wheel or turn it back off. It is 100% dependent on the adaptive cruise being on and set. It will not work with traditional cruise. Our lane assist, we want to make sure the lane departure warning and intervention are both on. Same thing for our blind spot assist. We want to make sure that they're both on. The emergency assistance, now with this one, because of the towing, if you are going to tow anything, as soon as you go to hook on to the tow package on this, I do suggest coming in and turning off your rear sonar. And the reason for that is, if you try and back up to attach a trailer or anything else, it's going to stop you because you get so close to it. This will allow you to continue moving, because the moment you turn your Pathfinder off and turn it back on, this is back on again. So keep in mind, anytime you've got anything attached to that tow package, you are going to want to disable that. If it's just the receiver, don't worry about it. But if you've got a bike rack or a trailer or anything like that on it, come in, turn that off. Now we're going to jump back out of here for a moment. Back over to our safety screen here. On this screen as well, rather than going all the way into the settings, if I press OK, and then I go to the emergency assist, I can do it simply right from here as well. So it's quick, easy access to be able to do it. And then you just jump back out. Back into our driver assist. The rest of this is all on by default, and I typically just leave it on. My next thing that I do want to set is in my vehicle settings. We're going to go down to locking. Now this is kind of neat because what we've got here is a couple things. First, I want to go in and I want to make sure my auto door unlock is set to shift to park, because by default it's on engine off or ignition off. What this means is by default your Nissan vehicle will not automatically unlock your doors until you turn the vehicle off. Most people prefer that it does so when you shift into park, because if you've got a passenger you want to let out, you don't want to shift into park and then have to hunt for the unlock button. This way, the moment you shift into park, it will do this. Now what's new this year is these two features here with my walk-away lock and approach unlock. You can turn on one or both of these. If these are on, what will happen, the walk-away lock, instead of having to push the button on the key fob or somewhere on the door, as you walk away, it will just automatically lock. With the approach unlock, as you approach the vehicle with your key fob on you, because it needs to be within 2 or 3 feet, as soon as it gets close enough, it will fully unlock the entire vehicle all at once. If you don't want it to do this, I can turn this off and go back up and re-enable selective unlock. Selective unlock means whether I touch the button on the handle or hit the button on the key fob, one time will only unlock the door that I'm at, or if you use the key fob, it's the driver door. A second time unlocks the entire vehicle. You can choose whichever method you want. Right now we've got it set for this, especially for demonstration purposes. We're going to come back out of here. I want to go into my wipers and I want to make sure both of these are turned on. Again, we're going to come back out. I don't need to worry about my maintenance. These are all preset. It will pop up and tell you when you're due. It is, your maintenance intervals are every 8,000 kilometers as laid out in section 9 of your owner's manual, but your oil changes are every 16,000 kilometers or once a year, whichever should hit first. We do recommend following the maintenance schedule, as there are other things that are fully checked in there. Now I'm going to come into customize display and then main menu. We notice I've got 2 of these that are turned off. One of them is a blank screen and the other says speed. That is just my average speed. I typically turn these off. I leave everything else fully turned on. And that's it. Don't ever be worried about playing with your settings. You cannot mess anything up here. There is a factory reset on the bottom. So don't be afraid to get in and actually play with the settings, but that is all of the settings on this. Now down below, and we're going to ignore this button because this is a special, the SL Premium that I'm in. If you do have the SL Premium, it does come equipped with a heads-up display. Now I can see my speedometer up there as well as my info for the adaptive cruise. If you don't have the SL Premium, just ignore this part and move on. But if you do have it, like I said, there is a lot of information here, and there's additional information for the navigation that will pop up there when you have it fully set as well. It's really great if you can get used to it. If you don't like it, simply push this button here and we see it all disappears. I do have a power lift gate, which we'll see in a moment because it does have kick motion activation. Now, the Pro Pilot Assist that I talked about, or the steering assist, we saw in the settings that you can turn it on or off. If you don't want it, there is a button right here which will allow me to turn it off as well or turn it right back on. Keep in mind that unlike the emergency braking that if you turn off, when you turn the vehicle off, it comes back on. With your steering assist, if you turn it off, it's now permanently off until you physically turn it back on. So I'm going to leave that back on as well just for the moment. On my side here, I do have memory seats. So there are 2 different seating positions I can set. With this, you're going to want to make sure that your seat and your side mirrors are fully where you want them. Then you're simply going to hit set and we can see everything lights up. And seat 1, and it says driver position 1 saved. It takes about a week to find your perfect spot in the power seat. So every time that you readjust it, just go through, set, and then your driver seat number. Once you have it fully set, if someone else has been driving your vehicle, When you get in, all you got to do is hit your seat number and it will move your seating and mirrors back to the exact position that you had them. We have an auto dimming rear view mirror with HomeLink. So you can set up to 3 garage door openers on this. It's a great little feature. And to do so, all you're going to do is take your garage door opener, get in front of your garage door, press and hold the button on your garage door opener, and then press and hold either 1, 2, or 3, whichever button you want to sync it up with. You will see a blinking light. That blinking light will change speeds once it syncs up. Then let go of each button and you're fully synced up. You can use that button on your mirror to open or close your garage door. There is a panoramic moonroof as well, and the buttons for these are right here. This button is my shade, and it is going to stop right at this stanchion here. And then I'm just going to press it again and I can close it the rest of the way. I can also hit the button to stop it anywhere along the way. And again, opening it does stop at that same spot. My other button, if I simply push up, it does tilt. I need to push forward to close it. If I push back, it will start to open. And again, I can stop it anywhere along the way and push forward to close. Very easy to operate. My SOS is going to work in conjunction with my Nissan Connect services, and I do have a whole other video on how to work those. But the SOS button, don't hit that unless it's a true emergency, because that is going to get into emergency services. High beam assist is one of the last things that I want to go over, and I'm going to cover our light sensor on the dash to force my headlights on. So I can see down here, this green bullet with the A in it means that my high beams are fully automatic. So the only way that that's going to come off is if I manually set my high beams, or if I accidentally hit this button out here. So that turns it off, but all I got to do is push that and it goes right back on. That means that my high beams are 100% automatic at this point. The back seat of the Pathfinder here, or the middle row, now we can see that this is slid forward a little bit. There is a bar under here that will slide to adjust. Also, if you want to get access to the back, there is a button right down here. And all I got to do is push that button, the entire seat moves forward. My back area, right back here, nice and easy to operate, easy to access. If you have somebody back here, now if you've got kids like mine who like to play around with each other, the kids in the center will hop out and they won't move that seat. There is a button right there for the person in the back. And if they push that while there's somebody sitting on it, nothing's going to happen because the weight keeps it in place. As you saw, simply just push back and that goes back where it needs to. In the back area here, what's really nice is I do have heated seats back here as well, making it really, really nice. I can control the fan speed of my air back here as well as the temperature as well. I can set it for auto just like in the front. And I can go through and change where my airflow is going to go. I can also turn it on or off from back here. Now, the little tab right there is a pull-up window shade as well. Really easy to operate. You just lift up on it, connect it there, and it's all in place, and that gives you a little extra shade from the sun. One of the things that I've rarely covered in the videos, and I have had a couple questions on it, is about the gas tank. Simply pop that open and it is a capless gas tank. Once you're done, just push it back in place. For my power lift gate, I can push the button here, or because I have the key on me, a wave of my foot underneath, and it's a simple in and out directly below the license plate, and it opens the hatch. Now, as we can see down here, we do have the tow package, and it is a fully wired in tow package. We've got lots of room here in the back area. With my seats up, if I want to put these down, all I got to do is pull these tabs, lift up, and give it a little push, and away it goes. Also, I do have hidden storage in underneath here. My jack and tire iron are right in here. Just pop this out of place. To get to my spare tire, take my tire iron. I'm going to put it right in here and twist and lower. Once I'm done, I'm just going to cover that back up, put everything back in place and close it off. And we do have a 12-volt power port back here, as well as some hooks to hook in a cargo net. Now again, I can use the buttons up here to close it. This will close it. If you push this one, it'll close and lock the entire vehicle all at once. Or Oh, I can give a little kick. The beeping tells me to get out of the way. Just be sure not to whack your shin on that tow hook. It does hurt. If you don't have the auto approach and walk away engaged, simply putting your handle or your hand in the handle will unlock your door. Pushing this will lock your doors as well. Congratulations again on your 2023 Nissan Pathfinder SL. This is a great vehicle, going to be great for you and your family. The drive is amazing, nice and smooth, and there is a ton of features. I know you're going to love it, but if you still have questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Call, text, email, or stop in to 60 Baker Drive with O'Regan's Nissan here in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Me or one of my colleagues will do everything that we can to make sure that you're fully enjoying your vehicle. I look forward to seeing you when it's time for the next one or when you're in for your regularly scheduled service appointments.